Good morning! Welcome to the latest episode of the Endless Celtics podcast. Here in our own wee version of Gracie's, not the Gracie's, my Gracie's. Our first live event is a group, and happy Flag Day. As you can see, pretty much the whole team is with us. Not Tony, unfortunately, he couldn't make it today, but we've got John back. He's back for the wilderness. He's been working hard behind the scenes, getting everything ready. We've got Ross, Stephen, Franny, and myself, Lolly, obviously. Thanks very much for joining us. Flag Day, the football's back. We're all buzzing, apart from Stephen because he's just seen the starting line up on the bench.
I'm a wee bit raised.
So we'll just get right into that straight away. We've seen the starting lineup. You want to redo the starting lineup?
Yeah, the starting lineup today is Hart, Ralston, Carter Vickers, Naraki, the new signing. Taylor is in back at left back, McGregor, Turnbull, O'Reilly, Abada, Maeda, and Kyogo.
And what do you think of that?
Me personally, I don't know. I mean, it's a bit telling for me. Naraki's starting, Hatate's on the bench, which is a surprise. I think we can all agree with that. But he hasn't been great pre-season. And I'm looking at Burnaby, and he's not involved in the squad, which for me is a bit strange. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, it's a decent lineup, but I think it looks weak to me for some reason. I just can't quite grasp why. I'm still trying to figure it out. So,
we've got a few comments in. Tony said, "Good luck, guys," and Danny's in 5 times in a massive table. just a perspective. But Burnaby is missing. What do you think about that, Ross? About all the clamour about him starting in pre-season and he's leaving in the squad?
Well, I think it was telling what Roger said in the presser the other day. Was it the presser? It was the presser. He basically said that he's what we've all said. He's good going forward, but defending, he's still got a lot to learn. I did think he would be in the squad, I have to say. I actually thought Rodgers would have picked him. But, I mean, for me, I would have picked Taylor because I said to you in the group chat that looking at the Ibrox game, Taylor hasn't been brilliant in pre-season, but you want him to get games, minutes in his legs, keep playing. And you're going to play him at Ibrox. You're not playing, but for me, you're not playing Burnaby. So you need Taylor to get games, get the minutes in his legs, and then I think Burnaby will feature a lot and throughout the season, obviously off the back of the European games when you're playing a lot more football. I think Burnaby will be used a lot then in the league. But for me, right now you have to start Taylor in that game.
And obviously it's massive that CCV's back in the team. I thought he was colossal. We're going to go and touch on James Forrest's testimonial a bit later on, but I thought he was colossal in that game, throwing himself in front of everyone. But John, Naroki's in there instead of Starfelt. I know you were a big advocate of Starfelt and probably still am since he first signed you. There was a few years I was when he first came in, but you've always been quite a big advocate for him. Are you surprised that Naroki's in instead of him, or do you think it's just he's coming through this tail end of this injury and he's not had many minutes under his belt in pre-season?
You could say that, aye, but I mean in the same sort of vein, though, you could say the same for CCV, but he's starting. So I don't know what it is, and then there's a lot of rumours floating about the new about Starfelt potentially leaving. So you didn't want to look too deep into it, but at the same time you're like, is that maybe a reason why he's not featured? Is there something going on behind the scenes? As for Naraki, I mean, he's looked decent, so it'll be interesting to see him get a proper competitive game under his belt and see how it gets on.
It seems quite similar to Starfelt for me and Naraki.
Just give him a fucking chance. Then he would jump on his back right after the bat if he makes a mistake. He's got any time to bed in. Same with all the new guys. I mean, it's an interesting lineup, but I'm surprised as well that Burnaby's no feature because he's had a phenomenal pre-season and you expect him to at least be on the bench. But that's what it is. Just before we continue as well, I just want to say thanks to everybody who sent me messages and all that, asking when I was coming back and everything else. It's very, very nice and heartwarming that people are actually reaching out and taking the time, making sure I'm all right. I've missed this, and it's all the kind of messages and everything else has kind of reignited that flame, so to speak, and you know who you are. So I appreciate it.
We're chuffed to have you back, mate. And he's not just been doing hee-haw, he's been working behind the scenes. There's a lot to come in the coming season for the tech guys. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Just in the comments again, we've got James. I'm not even going to attempt to say that something. Appreciate it, but from Sydney, looking forward to a huge season. Appreciate it. Martin K, morning folks. Tony's in again. If Frost gets too critical of Burnaby, Big Stephen will be using that table like the Spanish announce table.
He needs to watch himself, to be honest.
Danielle's in. Nice to see you, Danielle. I totally agree. I think he must have picked up a knock. Bernabeu, he's played well in the pre-season.
No.
Big Red, morning. I don't know if Stephen's feeling a bit claustrophobic in the middle here. But another notable absence in that first 11, probably the biggest one is Hatate, Franny. What do you think's going on there?
Well, obviously a lot of folk are turning into sort of body language experts with Hatate in the pre-season that he's saying he's not happy.
As if he's been grinning ear to ear for a year and a half.
He's had a mouth guard and he's never been grinning.
He'll hit a couple of Joker smile on his face to keep people got off his back.
I think, I don't think he's had the best pre-season. It's strange because we're kind of, the majority say that you can't read too much into pre-season, and here we are we're judging guys on pre-season and stuff. But Hatate, I think he's had an okay pre-season. He's not really hit the standards that we know he can, but he's maybe just building himself up and stuff. Tumba, I think he's had a really good pre-season. I think folk will maybe try and say Tumba could take a good season under Brendan Rodgers and try and act smart, but we've all said Tumbal's a good football player, and I don't think it takes a smart guy to say that Tumble could work under Rodgers.
Absolutely.
It could be
comments as well.
It could just be the type of guy that Rodgers isn't totally focused on pace 100 mile an hour like Hans, and that's probably why it didn't really work out for him latterly there. So I'll be excited to see. I hope it's just simply being rewarded for his good performances, and it's not any thing with maybe Hatate leaving and things like that. Same with Starfelt. I hope it's just maybe that Rodgers sees us in the Rocky and CCV's his starting partnership, because we all said we wanted to strengthen the centre back position. For me, buying a centre half and letting Starfelt go isn't a strength unless we've got somebody coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just kind of see. But I think if they do let Starfelt go, there'll obviously be somebody lined up. There'll be somebody lined up. I don't think so. I'm just glad to see Ralston back at right back, because I was just getting hung out to dry there as well.
I thought he had a couple of decent games. I thought against Wolves in the first half, I did well, but he's not right back. And you kind of forget sometimes. I don't know if you guys, but in pre-season, I was trying to think about where we could kind of strengthen, or maybe even just get more bodies in. And I was thinking about that midfield area, but you totally forget a lot is there was a spot last season where he played 2 or 3 weeks and Hatate's position, and everybody was going, this guy's the new Hatate. So you forget we've got him there as well, so he can come in. But I mean, I'm going to come at you because you're the rumour king. What do you make of Starfelt? The fact that all these rumours flying about that he's going to be Polski?
It's a bit strange that the rumour for me is coming from Spartak Moscow in Russia, because he came to us obviously from Rubin Kazan, and I don't think he would really want, in my opinion, to go back to Russian football. There's no real benefit to him. But obviously people do the kind of funny rumours. Canton even going to Sporting Lisbon, the women's team. People are trying to put 2 and 2 together and be like, maybe he just wants to for that reason. But I mean, but the Hatate one as well. I was saying to you yesterday, and you picked me up, that maybe Rodgers wants to send a signal to him, you're not going to get away with slack performances just because of what you done last season. We've seen Postecoglou do that. He took players out of the team when they weren't performing about it. Case in point, he's played really well this pre-season. So for me, I hope it's that. But I think it's telling. I think it's really telling.
I think that's an interesting point, because as much as a lot of people have said we've maybe not had the best window, we need to remember that it's a new manager that's in, so everybody needs to impress. It's an absolute level playing field again, so that can invigorate everybody and have us push on. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see. I've not seen. I don't like, me with the rumours. I need the concrete stuff. It's never been on Sky Sports News and all the rest of it. It's the same rumours that we heard for McTominay's coming and all the rest of it, and that's obviously not came to fruition.
It's a big statement, though, isn't it? Not having Hatate in, and
that's massive.
It's massive. It's really big.
Massive, unless he's picked up a knock, or maybe there is something going on. Maybe that's this whole moody look is there is something going on. Just back to the comments here, just to say hi everybody. Phil, how we doing? James is asking, what's going on in Glasgow? Beers for breakfast. Listen, it's the first live pod we saw together in here. We're on it all day. This will be we're doing another pod straight after, by the way, a wee reaction to the game, and I guarantee you that'll be a totally different pod. Chris MC, good to see you guys on. Better than looking at the gravy flavoured monster bunch of boy who yet again predicted Rangers are going to win the league this year.
Of course,
mad. But listen, boys predicted Rangers are going to win the league again this year.
Of course it does.
But we've got guys. we've got 44 people watching in at this time in the morning on a Saturday. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I genuinely thought we'd get about 2 people in, and maybe somebody coming in halfway through with an egg roll coming down the face. And all that. But thanks very much. We really appreciate you coming on. But we're just going to look back on James Forrest's testimonial quickly. Watched the game. It was a decent run, John. Was there anybody that kind of stood out for you? I thought it was interesting that he kind of switched pretty much the full 11 in the second half, and we got to have a look at the kind of what we would perceive as fringe players. But like I said, it's like a brand new era, so everybody's getting a chance. But
no, I mean, I thought it was a good test for us just before obviously we kicking the season off, and I thought it was a decent level of competition, obviously, and even though it was a testimonial, it was a perfect opportunity for guys to step up, and I think we can all agree that first half was probably the strongest team we could have maybe put out at that current moment in time, and it was subpar for me. I didn't think there were any particular standouts. Obviously, Kyogo, I mean, he's just phenomenal, but there was a lot of guys who'd maybe just run up to par or just kind of keeping pace with everybody else. And the second half, obviously, when they brought on that second string side, like you said, it was probably a B team essentially. The other guys a chance, they properly stepped up, and I'm very impressed with a lot of them. Skills was superb. Let's say you go obviously, but everybody. I think everybody kind of stepped up to the plate, and it was a completely different second half. Now I don't know too much about Bilbao or what their team selection was, and if that's like their best or whatever, but I thought it was a great match, and it was good to get a wee win for Jamesy as well, because he's been a fantastic servant to the club, and it was a nice wee sort of thank you to him. So I enjoyed it. It was good.
Absolutely. What did you make it, Ross?
Similarly, John, it was a good run out, but first and foremost, it was for Forrest for his testimonial for the years of service. I think I spoke about it on Monday night, maybe. Just obviously done a wee tribute to him, but he had his role to play in the first half. I think he had minutes in the second half, but
I didn't realise why they taken him. It was the 49th minute they took him off.
I didn't.
Because we were talking about, we were sitting here watching it for a night, and we were like, I wonder if he'll get 90 minutes or he'll get 10 half with 5 minutes to go, and then got 10 half straight away. We were like, didn't even click. It was
I didn't even know.
49th minute, he got 10 off.
Never made that connection at all.
Either.
But listen, it was as I say, it was a good run out, but good for Forrest to get his sort of night to respect him. But like John, I don't know too much about the Bilbao team, but I thought the first half, everybody knows I'm not imparting any wisdom here. Celtic never played well the first half, but you look at it, what is perceived as your second string team, and you're looking for the guys to stake a claim, and every single one of them, yeah, man, did that in the second half. I thought that David Turnbull obviously gets his goal. I don't think he started against Gamba Saka. He played well in that game. He's sort of earned his starting slot today, if you like, but I don't know if he's going to keep Hatate out of the team going forward, but I mean, it all depends on what happens with Hatate and if he's got to stay or go. We don't know, but I mean, people are, I'll touch on that. I mean, people are talking about Hatate and his body language and that, and I'm like, it's somewhat like Andy Murray. Like, what do you want me to do? He's not an entertainer. Like, he's an entertainer, but he's not on the stage like performance. It's like he's playing football, and he's just he scored the other night a really great goal. Like every single goal on Tuesday night, I thought was brilliant. Absolutely. I mean, Hatate's obviously wasn't like really well worked, but he picks up the ball, he breaks away from one or two defenders, finds Hatate. I'm sure he scored a goal like that against St Mirren in the cup last season.
You said that
just passes it into the net, brilliant goal. I mean, we speak about Bernabei's defending, but that highlighted everything that he's about going forward. It was an outstanding goal.
Really, by the way, that pass.
He doesn't stop. He makes that pass and he sees the space and he just goes into it. Times he's run perfect. It was a brilliant goal. And then you've got obviously Turnbull gets his goal. Turnbull gets his goal, and I think it was Ralston. It shows you with a natural right-sided player. He gets over that, he hits the byline, he plays it into and he again. I thought he done really good.
Totally different to Kyogo today. He was very short and
very
muscling, and it was totally.
People are writing him off too soon. he is going to be a really good player for Celtic.
Aye.
He's not going to take Kyogo's place. If we play 2 up front, he'll get his start. I think he understands his role in the team at the minute. Obviously, if that keeps going on for the next couple of years, he might get a bit fed up because he's at that age where he needs to be playing football. But right now, his role in the team's perfect for him and for Celtic.
I don't know about you,
his
sorry.
back was brilliant.
See for O as well. I think that would benefit like Abada and Maeda in the wings too, because he comes short and the guys can come in, and that's Abada's game. He likes to get in that box and score goals.
Surprised me because you seen him last season. He was just forward all the time getting in the box, but he was linking up. His crossfield passing, even the link up play, the Abada, like he said in the wing, was excellent. And I think he's a different option that sometimes we probably need.
Like what I say, he's dragging defenders since they probably don't know what to be.
And we talked about mine when he first came in and he played on United, and he kind of held off a defender and rolled him. That's what I want to see him. He's back to go rolling defenders and bringing other people into play. So, and that's what we've always, when GG was here, the rest we miss you, GG. We miss you, GG. That's what we kind of talked about then as well. And I think it was the same. It's totally different to what Kyogo offers you, which is brilliant, because if that's not working, then you obviously need to try something else. You don't really want to put like for like on, and I think it was definitely that.
And Rodgers he said, like, well, not so much Rodgers, but Cal McGregor, and I know we'll probably touch on it, but Cal McGregor had said about how where Rodgers will probably go between different formations and stuff, even like throughout the season, but and game as well. And I think obviously, like you say, O brings that to the table to be able to do that.
If you go 2 up top, it's really interesting. And I like seeing that you said that. It's nice just to touch on it, actually, just to go a wee bit off topic, but that's definitely something that Rodgers will bring that obviously Ange didn't. And he does switch it up. I mean, with Leicester, he played 3 at the back at times, and we talk about Bernabei. I think if we're playing 3 at the back and we've got a left wing back, he's perfect for that.
Here that Bernabei's a good player.
No,
I really like
very good going forward.
We can talk about Bernabei, but
nobody says
he's a bad player.
I said
we just don't think he's like you.
Saying he was shit was a slight hyperbole in the moment. But
he's fucking shit.
I've got a word for him, Rob.
He's a shit defender.
But no, it was a good test. I don't know about you, Fanny, but I didn't really feel like a testimonial game to me. It felt more like a friendly. I thought it was a great tribute to Wee Jamesy, but I think it could have been a bit better. I quite like it when you play with 2 11s and it's like ex-players he's played with or worked under and all that sort of stuff. And I thought he deserved a bit more than that, than what was essentially a pre-season friendly on a Tuesday night.
I think I do agree with you. Like, and I think Celtic even started the game a wee bit like a friendly. Like, maybe just making an excuse for them because, like we said, they weren't great first half and stuff. So I don't know if Celtic were treating it like a testimonial or an actual friendly and just weren't quite at it. I mean, you've seen the Bilbao definitely were treating it like a proper game. You've seen the celebration after their first goal. Boys getting it big licks in that. But I don't know where they are in their pre-season, so it's one of them. They maybe going full tilt or just breaking their selling. But no, it was good to get. It was good that you got a good crowd because there was obviously talk of it only selling out maybe like 20,000 and things like that. And I appreciate it's a Tuesday night and maybe no easy for folk to get there and stuff. So it was good that you seemed to get a decent turnout and things. But I thought O was good, but I thought that Thiago Holm was good in the second half.
Very tidy.
Really tidy player. Kwon, he was miles off it. Absolutely miles off it.
I like the look at him against Wolves today.
Another
fucking show.
I think
what's
no helped him, I think, is obviously before he's essentially signed, he's talking about how he's got to be the best player when he comes here. And to an extent, I didn't mind that you've just got to get judged at a different level, and you can't play like you played the other night.
K-League 2, wasn't it? The second division in career, so...
Oh, you like John Watts fucking K-League?
No,
you like
that.
No, you're Serie B watching every week, John.
That's where he came from, so you already know if you're going against Bilbao in midfield, like, you're going to be overrun. Coming from that kind of environment.
He's a fucking corner artist.
Oh. Wow.
He also did well.
I said that. Sorry, Fran.
I thought the second half team worked really good, and I was impressed with Thiago Holm.
Aye. No, I was just going to see what you'd said about, obviously. I was going to say, see what you said about, obviously, when there'd be some legends and that. I think, see if it had been like the tail end of the season, I think we would have probably done it on at the end of the season. See, because it's you're trying to get mountains in the legs.
I know.
I think it was a testimonial, but it was
100%.
another pre-season.
That's why I feel like it should have been done at the end of last year. I just don't think. I think the man. I think it's been kind of underplayed. What he's like, what he's achieved. He's like the third most decorated player ever to grace with our club. And he's kind of. Sorry, I'll get it after. We're live. It's kind of been underplayed for me. He's a massive part of this club, and I just thought he deserved a bit more than what was for me essentially a pre-season friendly. But what did you make of it? I'm just going to throw this out, and anybody can jump in because I'm sick of going to each one of you individually. What did you think of the goals we conceded?
Shite.
Terrible.
A lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes.
There was
a couple of good. It was like they were good strikes.
They were decent, but they
there was
found
nobody anywhere near them.
They found it way too easy. We made it too easy for them.
Joe Hart saves one that was by Seagrist.
Jackson?
Aye.
Not too
Seagrist was rank as well.
No, I don't hate Joe Hart. I think it's well known we need a new keeper.
Hatai was massive.
Have you signed Liverpool yet?
Aye.
Hatai was see, you need to come before because that's a fucking rubbish.
Okay, Ross, what you got to say?
I was just going to say Hatai was majorly at fault. The first goal was just a lax pass. It was like a blind pass. Didn't even look back, sort of back the way, but across the face of your box. Just a silly one, and then the second one you can come to somebody else. I can't even remember what it was like.
By the way, the Hatai, there was another point in the game where he was about 8 yards out and he's trying to dribble around 3 players in his own box, and he got nicked in as well. So maybe that's the reason he's been dropped today as well.
I think it's him sending the message.
You don't think Hatai's done it this pre-season?
No, I think he's been absolutely subpar, to be honest, from what he done last season. Obviously, pre-season you can't really read into it like we all say, but I mean, if you're coming to the start of the season now with Ross County, you expect a better performance level against Bilbao and Wolves, but he hasn't done it for me.
And Bilbao, I don't think they've got like a policy where they don't sign players out with the region. They need to be like.
Oh, really?
I think they're saying 1 or 2.
So if Mbappe wanted to go on a free, I don't think they'd take him.
Oh, really?
I think they've got this mad thing where you can't sign anybody that's out with the region.
I honestly think they've only done 2 players, and it's only fairly recently.
But they seemed a decent side, and the Bilbao fans and all that, for what I've seen, it looked magic. Everybody was integrating, and they're obviously a friend to the club as we are to them, and it was great pre-season game, plenty of goals, very exciting, buzzing for the season to start now. Today, Flag Day, which our very own James Forrest is going to unfurl the flag, which is magic. Can't wait to see that. But we've kind of touched on it a wee bit, but Franny, you kind of touched on home there as well, and we've touched on a few players, but is there anybody in there throughout pre-season that you've seen that could stake a claim to get in that first 11?
Well, it's got to sound silly because we're kind of team, but I say Tumble. But I think, like we've said, Tumble's, I think you can justify his inclusion today. It's hard to beat. I thought Naroki looked decent enough on Wednesday night, but I'm all a wee bit surprised he started, unless Starfelt's just maybe not to the pace, but then John made the good argument. Well, CCV, as far as we know, never really featured until the other night anyway.
Well, there was reports just prior to this game that CCV might not start either.
But they were talking that it might even be here till ready till after an international break. So
it might be a similar situation now.
So I would say Naroki, to an extent, probably done all right in the 45 minutes, but I still feel expected Starfelt. As much as it's killing me, Bernabei, you kind of get away from it. I think he's done all right in pre-season to ask for to certainly question it. He's got us questioning it, whether it should start, but I would still be picking Taylor. I would still be picking Taylor over him, but I think he's not done his chances any harm at the end of the day. But for me, it is Tumble, and it's a bit stupid enough because we can the team.
I don't know about news, but it's me. I think we kind of talked about it on Tuesday night when we were watching the game as well. But Tumble, obviously, Ange didn't fancy him. I say he doesn't fancy him. He was getting brought on with 20 minutes to go each game and stuff like that. But what I like about Turnbull, and what I didn't like so much about Ange's regime, which there's not many things because it was obviously
coming out now,
was that and the football he played. Obviously, I still think the fact that it was the best football I've ever seen in my period as a Celtic fan going to games. It's just relentless magic. But sometimes I feel like we should be taking pot shots,
Mhm.
getting shots for distance.
No,
And-
I'm
and-
saying it for fucking.
And David
Some
Turnbull,
John Christie
I
was
saw, listen mate, it's all recorded. All you need to do is go back on YouTube, you'll see it.
I know.
You didn't need to convince anyone.
No, I'm agreeing though. It's
But,
spot on.
25 there, right?
I hate referees. But definitely that's something that he brings. I'll come to you, John, about it because you're the man that's been screaming about it. I always thought that about Andy's teams. I feel like sometimes he obviously loves to hit the wings and get these balls in the box, but I just feel like sometimes take a shot.
Aye, absolutely. And I fully agree with you. The football that we played was phenomenal, but we did at times try too hard to get the ball into the box or try and pass it into the box. And a lot of the teams, especially we're playing at home, or even away, but teams will sit back and every man's going to be behind the ball and they'll just be waiting on an opportunity to hit us on a counter. And we press them so high and they're very, very hard to break down. So when you're constantly playing that way and you're trying to get the ball into the box, you find more often than not it doesn't work, or you're not creating enough chances because you've not got the space. Whereas the likes of, and like I said, we've all said it, take a shot for distance, test the keeper, draw them out, let them know they can't sit back that deep. And the likes of Hatai's done it. Turnbull's good at it. He tries it, but I'd like to see more of that because I think teams are still going to sit back against us. I think we're still going to press them high, even under Rodgers. And I think it's something we should utilise. Maybe just
See, the thing is as well,
range.
Ange did it, and it's definitely in Rodgers' DNA as well. We kind of always switch the ball from wing to wing, wing to wing, and that's the press is going to end up going out there. So there's going to be pockets of space in there. So it's definitely something that we should look at. And when we're talking about that, and David Turnbull in particular, Stephen, on Tuesday night, the second half, I believe it was Turnbull and O'Reilly played.
Mhm.
Now, if I go back to when we signed O'Reilly and we kind of talked when Ange was in charge, we always said that O'Reilly and Rogic can't play together because they're two number 10s. But that happened on Tuesday night. It's happening again today. O'Reilly and Turnbull are in the side. So what do you make of that? We're playing kind of two number 10s and they're not. I was saying that O'Reilly can be a box to box, I think, if he wants to be. I mean, he's surprised me. I always go back to that podcast when Carmack got injured and they were like, O'Reilly's playing number 6, and I can remember saying,
"Oh no,
we're absolutely up shit's creek if he's number 6. He's never a number 6 in a million years." And then he played the best 3 months of football in his life for Celtic. But what do you make of the kind of the two number 10s? And because I thought on Tuesday night he actually started with, it seemed like it was two number 6s.
Yeah, it was two
Carmack
centres,
and Quan were both really deep.
Double
So what do you
pivot.
mean? What do you mean?
double pivot.
Double pivot, eh?
That's double pivot.
That's in your fancy one.
Fucking accent, man. What do you think about the two number 10s?
I mean, for me, I think it's the flexibility O'Reilly showed us before. We can kind of cope with that. He can be a box-to-box midfielder. He was also a sitter. And then Turnbull, like you said, he's an opportunist outside the box, and he takes opportunities, and he can play kind of them forward passes and find the strikers. But we go back to Turnbull was a major part of Postecoglou's kind of first 6 months when he first came in. He was playing every week. Then he got injured. Tate came in, and then he kind of lost his place. So I think for me, Turnbull deserves it. He deserves the opportunity to come back into the team again, and like you said, Franny, the whole possession comes out more with Rodgers. What was that famous phrase? Rest with the ball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rest when you
That's
have the
right,
ball, you pass it around, you keep it, and you tire out your opposition. So I think Turnbull can fit that kind of profile perfectly well. And we never doubted him as a player. He just didn't fit into Postecoglou's system.
Yeah.
He wasn't able enough to press all the time and do that kind of job. Where Rodgers maybe works it differently. Where, like you said, he had 2 sitters, a double pivot. starting in the first half against Bilbao, and then he changed it to 2 10s essentially. But I'm not concerned about it. I mean, it's a safe bet. It's not being disrespectful to Ross County, but we should be putting them away quite comfortably. So
we'll touch on that.
at home, I would say Flag Day, 2 number 10s, go with it and see what you can do. 100%.
I think in the league as well, especially. I mean, we kind of talked about. We've kind of already discussed it, but we'll just go on to Ross now, and we'll go on to and Stephen can get his say. Because I've kind of gone through guys that can stake a claim, and Bernabe is obviously definitely one of them. In pre-season, he's kind of shown it.
I'm getting beat up.
And I think that there was a good point made about how in the league, especially when we're playing the likes of Ross Counties, or with no disrespect, but these guys that we're going to have 90% possession against, Bernabe's a very, very good fit. because we're going forward majority of the time. And I think it's definitely an asset to us anyway. But you said it earlier about going to Ibrox, and I totally agree with you. And Europe as well. If unless he's changing formation and playing like a 3 at the back in Europe or Ibrox, for me, I just wouldn't hate Bernabeu anyway the first 11 because of that reason. And I think Taylor's much more assured. But what's your thoughts on it?
In the big games, when we're up against it, Greg Taylor, for me, plays every single day of the week. But we'll be up against it in Europe. Obviously, we don't know who we're going to get now, but whether it's away or at home, we'll be up against it. It'll be tougher games. You'll need to defend. You'll have Maeda obviously protecting Taylor. I don't think Bernabeu is disciplined enough to play the role that he would be asked to play right now, as much as Maeda would protect him as well. I see you smiling there, Stephen. but listen.
By the way, we didn't even plan to put you to sit
I know.
together.
But in the bigger games, for me, he's not disciplined enough. Greg Taylor has to start the bigger games where, as I say, we'll be up against it. But like you've just said there, games off the back end, like the European games, it's not often Celtic get to play at Parkhead after a European game. It's usually Ibrox, but
that's just luck, though. That's just the way it cooking
score.
Pesky computer. But, hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, even if it is away from home, I don't know, you go to St Mirren or something like that, no disrespect. Bernabeu will play that game. I know, it's the first one that just comes. St Johnstone, right? But regardless, right? You go to the games you expect to win, you expect to be in. He'll use the squad far better than Ange did.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see that coming to the fourth throughout the season. And Bernabeu will get a lot more minutes, certainly than he did last season, in my opinion. And that'll be due to, obviously, Rodgers using the squad, but also, as his second year, the first year he came in, he obviously had these troubles off the field and stuff like that. We know that. So, the two things coupled together, you'll see Bernabeu playing a lot more football for Celtic this season.
Well, just before I go to you, Stephen, I'm just going to go Brown Warriors. Cheers, Brown Warrior. Brown Warriors got many opinions about Bernabeu, so I'm just going to read some of them up. So he's been telling us since last season Ange didn't deploy Bernabeu in his natural role. He was asking him to do things against his natural instinct.
Taylor's Taylor to do.
He's logged in as Brown Warrior. He says Taylor struggles on the overlap on the outside. I'm not so sure I agree with that. He was more coming on inside because that's Ange's instructions for me. Brendan comes in and asks Bernabeu to play the way he knows he can and will. Have you seen delivery as good as that Bernabeu cross to Yang for Taylor or Johnson?
It was outstanding.
Oh, it was out. And by the way, when he first came in, we were told he was a set piece specialist, and he's got a great left foot in him. We've not seen it. And he continues to go on. Get a token novel written. Brendan stated he's going to mix the formation up this time round. You don't need to worry about Bernabeu with a back three. I totally agree with that. I'm also on an LCB. This is what the young guys say. CPM and LCB. Also by an LB by trade. Just a couple others before I get Stephen to have his rant. Here we go, another treble first step. Cheers, James. Nice show, lads. What the score predictions? We'll give them at the end of the show. And Michael McDonald's bang on. It's a bit like loose swimming in here. But Stephen, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Bernabeu then? Should he be starting?
100%. I think he go on form, and he showed the best form. We're talking about dropping players like Atate for not showing it. Taylor's not exempt from that. For me, it's not against the rule and that type of thing. But obviously, Bernabeu, we all questioned defensively, including myself. But I think in pre-season he showed up well. He showed up well against the likes of Semedo, against that. I was going, but he let me go. But he showed up well against Semedo, and I thought Semedo absolutely destroyed Taylor in the first half, and against Bilbao as well. He scored a fantastic goal, a great bit of link up there already in that. But yeah, I think he should be starting. We should give him a chance. Do you know what I mean? And it's up to Taylor to win that jersey back. Obviously, he's in today. I hope Bernabeu's not out for a long time in terms of injury. And I made the prediction he's going to be first choice by December, and I still stick by that.
Right.
I think under this system as well, Nick Brown Warrior is going to be flexible. It's going to change, and he can do that. And we all agree here going forward, he offers more than Taylor. Like, do you know what I mean? Especially in the fullback position, the traditional type role of that. And
Unless Rodgers changes it up and
But-
goes with the inverted
Well,
fullback.
that's to be seen, but it doesn't look like he's doing it. Although it did seem like in the first game that he was coming in a wee bit more, but that's kind of stopped. But yeah, going up down the wing, I think Burnaby offers more. And if he improves defensively, like Roger said, by the way, like you alluded to, Ross, in terms of his press conference, if he improves that the side of his game, like he's a shoe the first choice. And I don't think we should be afraid of that. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We'd buy a new left back. But yeah, for me, he should be starting going off pre-season.
Fair enough. Brian Warrior is right into about the left back today. My point in Taylor is he struggled to adapt to a wing back role under Lenny for 2 years, not until Ange opted to go with inverted fullbacks, but Taylor did start to shine. What I would say about Taylor's strengths is when he does come into the midfield, I think he's better at his distribution as in the
He's a good
6-yard
passer.
passes and moving and all the rest of it. So he did definitely suit that. But that was a bit nicer than I thought. I thought there might have been fisticuffs there. But
Wait after the game.
wait to the
Wait
the post pod. But Franny, I'm going to come to you as well. But I'd like to hear John's on this as well. I kind of throw it out anyway. But we're mentioning guys that I won't come to you because you mentioned it earlier, and Liam Scales. I thought he's had another one that's had an excellent pre-season. Yet, no, everybody's clamoring for him to play like Burnaby is, and I think he's been excellent this pre-season as well. You just pick and choose. So by the way, Kyogo was non-existent on Tuesday night. Is he not starting today because he had a bad pre-season?
For a beauty against Wolves, like.
Oh well, okay then.
Taylor was brilliant all last season.
Stick to the Scales.
But I wanted to come to you because you said that if we've brought Naraki and if Starfield goes, we need to bring somebody else in. But is Scales that man that could fill that void, or?
Nah, for me, I don't think so. I'm not like Stephen and watch all the SPL games, so I don't know how well I done it at Aberdeen. We know you and your SPFL watch and stuff.
You get that in the day, right?
That's what happens when you're in Scotland.
He has had a good pre-season and stuff, and for me, I feel if Starfield goes, I want us to go and get somebody to replace Starfield. I don't think Scales is the answer. Where I would argue Scales' case is if my options are Scales or Kobayashi, I'm probably picking Scales, and I'm kind of basing that on pre-season friendly and what I've seen of Kobayashi. I think Kobayashi is absolutely miles off for me now. I don't think he's strong enough for the game.
Where has he been in pre-season recently? Like he started the first couple of games,
actually
didn't he?
Featured in pre-season. He probably played over in the Japan games, but I don't.
He was in the stands against Bilbao with Johnson and another person, but yeah.
So he
might have an injury, but I think it's one of the ones. He has only been here 6 months. I would maybe try and loan him out if you can and keep Scales on that sense. Because I still think we need a wee bit of depth in the centre half position, but I certainly wouldn't be clambering to make an excuse for if Starfield does go, we didn't need to worry about replacing him because we've got Scales there, and that's not a problem. Scales, I do agree, has had a good pre-season stuff. I think he could be utilised. Even I would probably use him better before Welsh as well. But
yeah, I agree with that.
I definitely, if I'm trying to argue Scales' position in the squad, it's ahead of Kobayashi and Welsh.
He played centre half for Aberdeen last year as well.
Back free, mostly for Aberdeen, yeah.
It's interesting about what we say that Rodgers changes his formation. If he does, then Scales at the left there back three might not be a terrible option. I think he's good with the ball as well, and he's kind of a ball playing centre half. But John, what is your thoughts? Because for me, I kind of agree with Franny, because if we do lose Starfield, like if Naraki takes, say Naraki's, by the way, Starfield might be first choice here. We don't really know, but say Naraki is first choice and he gets injured for 6 weeks and we're going into the Champions League, I'd much rather have Starfield coming in there than I would Scales.
Absolutely.
But what's your thoughts on Scales anyway this season?
message. Just try to.
We all think Burnaby is.
How fucking long has it been off?
Is it? Is it off?
No, that's it now.
Oh, is it?
No, is it?
He's sat here for about
sorry for that, Trips.
15 minutes.
Technical fault, and John won't be with us for another 6 months after that. But I was reading through your comments here. I know probably you couldn't hear me, but I agreed with that. So I don't even know where I am now. I'm talking about skills.
I was talking about Starfield. If you want me to continue,
I
was just saying that we shouldn't be signing Navrocki because Starfield might be going.
Exactly.
He needs to be signed regardless, because we need that other strong centre half. I don't think Scales, as much as he's had a good pre-season, I don't think he's that level where if just say for talking sake, well, if we didn't have Starfield and we lost Navrocki, I don't think I'm comfortable with Scales coming in as to partner. As much as CCB will help him through the game, I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable with Welsh, as much as I've said he's done well for Celtic. Definitely not comfortable with Kobayashi.
Yeah.
So if Starfield goes, we need to bring in another strong centre half. If he stays, then I think we've got a good choice of three. I'm quite happy with that.
Especially see if we are going to go to three at a back at some times, we need more options in there. Definitely. Michael, thanks very much. We were down for a few minutes apparently. Thanks for letting us
Sorry,
because otherwise we would have been blabbing on for the next 15 minutes and we would have kept clue what's going on, so we really appreciate it. Anybody else? The other name I got down we kind of touched on briefly was Young Home. He looks a player. He runs a bit like I said the Ross on Tuesday. He runs a bit like Calmac. So whenever he's on, have a look at him. He runs just like Calmac.
I thought he impressed the other night as well. What I did see him because I was at the game but left in about 60 minutes because the wind was knackered. But what I did see him like he zips the ball about and like his fan passes in, and so he has kind of impressed me what I have seen him. And I suppose if you've got to kind of put Thiago in your name, you better be a better player.
I think as well he could give you an option to rest McGregor.
I mean, we thought that way. Well, I suppose the water just came in the door, but we've had that way. What was it? Was it the Danish boy that came in last season? Abelgard, and he was rotten. So, and
I thought McGregor was more of a.
I don't know, just
going forward, but the second half, because against Wolves he kind of came on in that no number 10, but like an 8.5 or something. And but on Tuesday night, when
McGregor went,
he went off a bit.
He kind of came and sat in the 6 Will Tumble, and O'Reilly did all the stuff. So it looks like he's quite.
He's got a bit about him, but it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, he does get around the team because he has been one of the ones that hasn't excited me. I felt I was going to get excited by the boy Jan because of his YouTube clips and stuff, and he might well be a player. But I think off of what I've seen, I think I know, especially us three have said we're a wee bit. It looks like squad pad in that sense of the signings, Navrocki aside, but I think a lot of that probably based off his price tag. I think what I've seen of them home, I think is probably one that could maybe really feature a lot this season if you're picking one of the four anyway.
I think we might have. So is that back on? That's a green again.
That's back on.
Apologies, guys. We're down for a few seconds there again. We'll sort these out for the second pod, but you probably don't want to listen to this the second pod. So, so a few of the guys there that we might be staking a claim, but kind of going, I'm not want to touch on this too long, but it needs to be voiced, and it looks like I might be talking about it again afterwards, but the Green Brigade were missing Tuesday night. It seems like, I don't think there's been any official word, but it seems like that it's all because Brendan's back, and it's kind of like trying to voice against that. But I thought it kind of taken away from the fact that one of our greatest ever players, it was a night for him, and it kind of take the shine off that a wee bit, Ross, would you say?
Well, I understand where you're coming from. I've read a lot of things online. Look, there's people defending the Green Brigade and saying they don't go to friendlies or testimonials.
Sure, they were
well, listen, me personally, I've not seen any evidence to argue against that, so I can't sit here and say they've been to other friendlies and stuff like that. So, listen, I really don't know. I'm not going to, because I don't know, I'm not willing to, as much as I down cry, the Green Brigade for a lot of things. I'm not willing to sit here and do it now because I've not got enough. I've not got enough of a case against it. It was.
You still got the tickets though.
People have said that they use the games as opportunities to go with their family and stuff like that, which is why that part of the stadium's vacated. I think with it being a Forrest testimonial coupled with Rodgers' first game back at Parkhead, it would have been nice to see them there. Listen, without the benefit of hindsight, they maybe just went about what they usually do. But with hindsight, it maybe doesn't look great. But listen, it is what it is. It's up to they can choose what they want to do. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Not everybody agrees with it. I'm sure in time, Rodgers, he'll thrive on trying to change their opinion, I'm sure that'll provide them even more fire in the belly to do that as well as win with Celtic.
And saying that, if that is their opinion, it's not. I don't think it's a popular one because you got a very good ovation at the game, Rodgers, and it seems like most are backing him. But I mean, he's not a wee boy. He knows what's coming. He knows what's happened before, and I think everything that he's talked. We're going to touch on what he said after the game, but has anybody else got anything to say about?
For me, that it's a bit bad that we're talking about that obviously instead of the game. Do you know what I mean? I know we talked about the game, but people are mentioning more about the Green Brigade not being there, the boys group not being there. And like you said, Ross, some people say they don't go to these games. I don't know if that's true or not, but then there's pictures of the Scott Brown testimonial and they're there and they're singing and stuff.
Well, there's talk of them not coming today.
I've seen them, they're all
Well, no,
there.
they've got injured on the week today. They're tough, so
but it's one of them things. 90% of me agrees with everything the Green Brigade does, the protests and stuff like that, but 10% of me think, come on, lads, just be there for your own. Like James Forrest. And do you know what I mean? I think he should have been supported throughout the whole stadium, including the groups. But here, like you said, we don't really know because it hasn't been put out. Obviously, this
just tell the guys you're just going to be 10 seconds of quiet here. I'm just
10 seconds of quiet. You'll be thankful because Stephen's talking now.
Hey,
just shut it off.
You got to check his other side.
Right. Hopefully that's us, guys. Really apologise for the technical issues, but we'll press on. Talking of pressing on.
Yeah, that's good.
Brendan Rodgers and Calmac had a presser recently. I've not actually seen it.
I'm
hosting, so I don't need to comment on it. John's seen it. Ross has seen it.
Aye.
And after the game, Brendan kind of, I don't know what you think, but he got me. I mind I said when Ange left, said that's it. I'm never ever going to let a manager fucking make me fall in love again because it was too heartbreaking when they go. But I'm hook, line and sinker again. Rodgers getting at how he feels like home and he realised what he had before and when he left. And a lot of people might think that's just cannon fodder, a lot of rubbish just to fob us off. But I totally believe everything he says. But what do you think, Ross?
Listen, it's sort of one spitting twice shy kind of thing, but
I thought you were going to go soon as you. Yeah, for sure.
No, listen, I believe what he's saying. He said that he'll be there for 3 years. I'm not sure if I fully believe that. We'll see how things go. Listen, football can change really quick. Football can change really quick. So I don't know. Listen, Rodgers here now. I'm not thinking about him leaving. I'm thinking about what he's going to bring to the table. He was the best man or the best option at our disposal for the job. He was the first choice. It was a no-brainer. I've heard people saying, why was other teams in England not coming in for him if he's that good a manager?
We don't know that.
But he said himself one team came in for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't right for him. But
he said he was going to take a break.
He was going to have a year out, but then Celtic came going. And whatever you think about Rodgers,
wife will be an agent.
Aye, but
sorry, Hen, we're back to Glasgow.
As his club, whatever people think. And listen, I'm fully on board the Rodgers bus, and whoever's at the Celtic helm, whether I like him or not, he's there to do a job and he's there to do it to the best of his ability. And Rodgers will do it to a really high level as he's proven in the past. And I'm just excited to see what happens.
Well, Michael McDonald thinks he'll drop us in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail when the Saudis shake some blood money in his direction.
Well,
So does everybody.
most people,
So's everybody got to do it.
And the Saudis are taking over. Anyway, well, I've just realised what time it is. We've only got 8 minutes to kick off.
Aye.
Big Brenda's on the screen now. So we'll just look ahead to the game. We've kind of touched on the first 11. Stephen kind of mentioned it, John, about how it's Flag Day. You want to put on a show and blow a team away. What's your expectations of the game?
I think it's going to be exactly that. I think we'll dominate for the first whistle. I think Brendan will want to have the team impose themselves very early. I think we'll score quite a few goals. I'm going to predict. You want a prediction in there?
I go for it.
I'm going to say about 4-9. I'm going to say 4-9.
Line up day.
I'll still get it right.
But I think it'll be about 4-9, and I think it's a good opportunity for everybody as well. Like I said, first real competitive game for these guys and some of the new guys to kind of show us what they've got, and I'm looking forward to it. And like you say, just you want to get things after a flyer anyway on opening day. So I think it's going to be a decent win for us.
Agreed, Ross?
Similar to John, I think Celtic at home against most teams in Scotland will dominate the ball. They've done it under Ange. They've done it in Rodgers' previous term. They're going to do it this time. I expect them to do it today. I expect Celtic to score a few goals as well. Yeah. I had 4-0 in my head. I'm going to stick with that.
4-0 again, Stephen?
like the guys have said, we're at home. A good team line up. I think attacking as well. So I'm going to go 5-0.
Oh, it's changing up, Frank.
I think I'll be confident. I'm going to go about 5-0 as well.
So not like his last first game. I was going to go 3. What was Rodgers' first game last time? Hearts, we scraped it.
2-1.
So nothing like that. To go to that shit.
The pink bus shelter. But Michael's saying 5-0. Lucky 15 Voodoo saying 6-0. Michael, we are not. Stephen's usually in Ireland, but he's came over for the game. We thought we'd do.
What did they say?
But are we doing this for every game? But I think it'll be something that might become for specials and stuff like that. It'll kind of become a bit more regular. I think it's the first time we've tried it. We've always had a wee few technical issues, but other than that, I think it's been great for me personally anyway. So it's definitely something we'll look into. But we'll be right after the game again as well to do a reaction. Hopefully we all will make it. We're going to hear a few jars, so
I'll have glass Stephen.
maybe a few black eyes and all the rest of it. But, thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you right after the game. I hope, like me, you're surrounded by your loved ones watching the game with a few jars. Enjoy it. It's Flag Day. Here we go. Hail, hail. Glasgow Celtic's back.